Dela writes, my MVVs, welcome. Meet Dr. Adesewa Diaz Aragba. Okay, the 25-year-old Canadian-based doctor introduced to the Great Lion. Omo, it's not a small something, no. Dr. Adesewa Diaz Aragba. Just the name alone turns head, not because she comes from one of the most respected Yoruba lineages in the Ogidigba dynasty, but because she has done so much, so young that people older than her whisper her name with both envy and admiration. At just 25, Adesewa is already a medical doctor based in Canada, a prodigy by all standards, and a woman who carries both the warmth of her root and the excellence of her global exposure. She was born in Lagos but moved to Canada with her parents when she was barely 7. Her father, an accomplished architect of Diaz descent, and her mother from the Aragba branch of the Aragba branch of the Ogidigba royal bloodline, raised her in a home where culture, faith, and education were not just values, they were laws. Her father used to say, Adesewa, in life, your name is a mirror. Don't ever let it reflect failure. That struck with her. Okay, she carried that belief through every stage of her life. In school, she was a girl who didn't blend in, not because she couldn't, but because she didn't want to be ordinary. Teachers called her the diamond girl because everything she touched sparkled with effort, perfection, and focus. By the time she was 16, she had already completed high school, graduating with distinction and getting early admission into the University of British Columbia, Faculty of Medicine. Her story was published in a local paper at the time, highlighting the Nigerian-Canadian girl who entered med school at 16. It is not a small thing, no. Her journey through medicine was not easy. It never is. She wasn't from that kind of like too much of. When you hear that they Ogidigba, it's not as if they are so wealthy. They are just from that lineage. Okay, she wasn't from that kind of wealthy background by Canadian standard, and though her lineage in Nigeria is royal, it didn't automatically translate to financial privilege abroad. She worked in students' lab, tutored younger students, and even took shift at a community pharmacy just to make ends meet. Yet she never lost focus. By 22, she had finished medical school, and at 23, she was doing her residency in family medicine with a special interest in women's health and emotional well-being. Her professor said there was something rare about her, an emotional intelligence that was far beyond her age. She didn't just treat patients, she listened, she remembered their stories, their fears, their faces. It was this same empathy that made her a favorite in the clinic. Her patients, especially older women, would often say there's something divine about the girl. You can feel peace when she speaks, okay? Despite her growing success, Adesewa never forgot her root. Every December, she flew back to Nigeria, not to show off, but to give back. She organized free medical outreaches in local areas in Ondo, Ekiti, and Osun State, focusing on maternal care, child health and emotional wellness for women. She started a small foundation called the Adesewa Touch. I don't know if you've heard of that foundation. It belongs to her. Using her earnings to fund simple but life-saving interventions, malaria treatment, health education for young girls, and medical kit for pregnant women. Her foundation has now reached over 2,000 people in 3 years with her own money. Hey! Competition day, this will not If you don't get power, not show your face there. Those who have met her say she doesn't speak loudly, but her presence commands a room. There is a grace she carries, a calm assurance and intelligence that doesn't need to shout. She's deeply spiritual but not fanatical, okay? Strong but not arrogant, beautiful but not loud. Her beauty is a quiet, dignifying kind, soft brown skin, tall, firm, and eyes that seem to study your soul before you speak. Makabi, go finish for this one. No. Hey. So they say when her name began to surface in the circle of the Ogidigba dynasty, it didn't come as a surprise. They say it was the royal wall, one of the respected arms of the dynasty, that is the Aragba. They call them the royal wall. Wall is spelled W-A-L-L, Aragba. They call them like a nickname for the Ile Aragba. They call them the royal wall, okay? They said Ile Aragba is one of the most respected arm of the dynasty. That first introduced, they say it was Ile Aragba that first introduced her name to the palace. She was seen as the perfect bridge between modern intellect and ancestral heritage. Her mother, Lady Adebimpe Aragba, was born from the Ogidigba line that traces its spiritual root back to, Ife. That alone made Adesewa not just any woman, but a daughter of deep Yoruba royalty. Now, the whisper around the palace are that she has been introduced to the Great Lion. The news spread quickly at first, but it's in fact, it's impossible for it to hide. A 25-year-old medical doctor raised her blood, deeply cultured with royal blood in her veins, and now being introduced to the throne. The entire Ogidigba circle is bosom. Some see it as a destiny aligning, others call it divine timing, others call it manipulation. Like the Ile Orokitan or Lorikitan, they are, in fact, the Wahala is not a small thing. Those close to her describe her as cautious, respectful, and extremely humble about the whole matter. She hasn't said a word to the press, and when close friends asked, she simply smiled and said, if it is meant to be, it will be. I serve purpose, not power. That single statement shows her depth. She is not chasing the crown. She is guided by purpose. Now, this is one of the biggest controversy of the time. Ebony is not in a good place. Ebony is saddened. Look, two things, in fact, three major things are likely going to happen this season. One is certain. That is the Ofarende. The second one is a day to that they will marry. Maybe. Then, hey, if God is not with Ebony, the other day say, wahala done. Finish. You see, from the very beginning, they thought they were doing the jewel. They forgot that the jewel has a place. Like the jewel is standing gidigba. You cannot move the jewel. And when they were introducing, doing this, doing that, Ebony, you see what Ebony do herself? Ebony poo-poo for her own legs. These are Adesewa that they brought down. Ile Aragba, they are very strong. They will not allow Ebony to drink water and drop cup in that palace. They will make sure they drag her out. They will make sure, because they feel like she has troubled the Great Lion so much. She needs to go. They feel like she does not appreciate what she has. She needs to go. They feel like she has committed a lot of her trotro. She needs to go. They feel like, in fact, her own is too much. She needs to go. And now when your own people begin to fight you, make you know say the wahala, it don't weird badao. Hey, wahala. This is where we are right about now. I'm going to bring you more update. Do not forget that these are all alleged rumors, unverified information making the rounds on social media. Shouldn't be seen as far.